The Peak District was the first area in England and Wales to be designated a national park. That was back in 1951. The idea, of course, being to protect the landscape from inappropriate development. And quite close to the Peak District, you've got some very large cities. Manchester on one side, Sheffield on the other, amongst others. For the Peak District, where is it? Well, it's the southernmost part of the Pennines, the backbone of England, which stretches from the Midland Plain all the way northwards up to the River Tyne in Northumberland. I live 200 miles from the Peak District. Therefore, photography can only be conducted occasionally. The nearest I get to living in the area is to stay overnight at a hotel, preferably for a week. Otherwise, when the magic happens, I am sitting at home in Surrey, south of London, having to content myself with what might have been. For something like 25 years, I led and organised photographic holidays for HF Holidays. And many of this picture selection were taken when I was based at their hotels at Newton Grange and later at Thorpe. So many of the images were used to teach my students. And what I would do is give a teach-in the night before and then put my methods into practice during the next day. And quite frankly, you had to prove that you could practice what you were preaching. And if I can't do it, then what on earth am I doing by saying I am a photographer? You have to give them the proof of the pudding. I start my journey at one of the honeypots, Dovedale, not far from HF Holidays Hotel at Thorpe. Timing is the most important skill in landscape photography, and being in the right place at the right time is also important, and running many photographic holidays for HF gave me that unique privilege, and hopefully for my students too. After Dovedale, our tour continues to the upper valley of the Dove, the villages of Tissington, Yulgrave, and Ashford in the Water. Imposing Chatsworth comes next, the Palace of the Peak, before heading to the Dark Peak at Kerber Edge, Kinder Scout, and the Roaches. I am not going to give a running commentary. Instead, I will allow the music to enhance the mood. Technique can be learned from my other programs on YouTube, but in a place like the Peak District, a landscape of mountains and high hills, it is understanding weather and not technique, though that will help a little bit, but it is weather that adds that touch of magic.